What is up, guys? Super excited today to bring to you guys a new part of the series on nutrition. We've been talking about, been getting a lot of questions about nutrition recently. So I wanted to talk today about what to eat before, during, and after your training sessions, your workouts. Maybe it's a game. Anytime you have to really show up using your body in any way. What should we eat before, during, and after? A lot of people will show up to my training sessions and halfway through they're totally destroyed. I'm like, what did you eat today? They either say, oh, well, I had a bunch of steak right before this. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe your stomach is destroyed right now. Or they're like, well, I ate nothing before this. And I'm like, okay, so we need to understand what we need to do before, during, and after to get the most out of our training. It's not just about the time that we spend in the gym, it's about the time that we spend outside of the gym so that we can get the best results for it. So let's get right into it. So why does it matter? We need food, we need energy to fuel us while we're in the gym. You guys all know this, you understand this concept. But a lot of people avoid eating, especially when we're about to work out. But it's important to eat, but we just have to make sure we eat the right foods. Secondly, it's recovery. It's understanding that the food that we put into our bodies directly applies to the impact that the workout has on us. We can train as hard as we possibly can. We can work super hard all the time, but it's not going to matter if we don't put in the work outside of the gym. If we eat like cake and cookies and McDonald's all day long, we could work super hard in the gym, but we're probably not going to gain as much muscle and lose as much fat as we want if we had a diet that supported the work that we put in. So we want to make sure we're eating correctly to support the work you put in because you do work hard in the gym. I know you do. So we want to make sure we're getting the most benefits out of that. So let's move right into that and talk about what should we eat beforehand. We want to think about quick energy and easy digestion. So this is actually the time where you can eat some of the things you probably wouldn't eat before. Like, for example, something I love to eat beforehand is like a fruit snack, something that's really nice and simple, easy for the body to digest, simple carbs, and it's really easy to digest and just get going. So think about quick carbs, especially if you're just about to work out or get into a game and you need to eat something, but you don't want it to give you a cramp or anything like that. If we're thinking about a meal, we want to think about between 1 and 2 hours beforehand. This is something that is very based on who you are. So I experimented this for myself for a long time. I'm actually probably between the 2 and 2.5 hour mark. If I eat about an hour and a half to an hour before I have an intense training session or a game, I'll start cramping up and I'll have all the stomach problems that you've all had felt before. So that's just me. Some people I know they can eat an hour beforehand and they're fine. So it depends on who you are, but just some general recommendations is it's probably between 1 and 2 hours for most people. So find that area where you need to eat, and stick to it every single time. That's going to help you show up in your workouts because the harder you can work in your workouts without getting cramps and without having to stop because you feel like you're sick, you're going to perform better in your workouts and get better in the long run. So we want to avoid heavy protein and fiber, like I said, steaks, heavy fiber foods. Those are going to give you a lot of good dense nutrients, but they're hard for the body to break down. So if it's hard for the body to break down, we're allocating all of our resources to our stomach, and we can't allocate the blood and the resources out to the muscles for our workouts. So those can be great foods, but if you're going to eat a heavier meal, think about 1 to 2 hours at least beforehand so you can properly digest everything. All right, let's move to what we should be having during. And all I want to say about this is water. For 95% of us, it's just water. Just think about water. Okay. For every hour that you train during the day, add 20 ounces of water to the daily amount of water you should be having. I always say it's half your body weight in ounces for your general water intake in the day, plus 20 for every workout that you have. So if you're 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces, but you work out an hour every day, we'll make that 95 and you're good. So think about having water before, during, and after your training sessions. Again, you don't want to have a lot of water right beforehand. That's going to cause you problems. But I just want to quickly say you don't need electrolytes or Gatorade unless you're going past 2 hours for a workout. Gatorade is one of the a booming industry because it tells everybody that we need to have these electrolytes while we're working out. And electrolytes are good, but you're gonna get them through your food. if you're eating a well-balanced diet. So you don't need to replenish with electrolytes or those sports bars that Gatorade and those people sell. You don't need all those things unless you're working out for more than 2 hours. If you're running a super long race for 2 hours straight, go for it. But in general, you don't need those electrolytes unless it's a super strenuous event. Anyways, moving on. What to eat after training? This is really where it all comes together because this is where you get the bang for your buck. You could work out all the time, work out super hard, be very disciplined, but in the end, it's not gonna matter very much if you don't recover well in the 23 hours that you're outside of the gym. So this is how we recover. Think about protein and these more dense foods, the meats, the nuts, the seeds, the things that are considered heavier, fats. You don't want to have like heavier fats. While fats are really great for you, healthy fats. Make sure we're clear on that. Healthy fats. So think of like avocado. Plenty of times I'll have players or athletes be like, "Oh, I had Chipotle before this," and you get that awesome guacamole at Chipotle, which I love. But you are destroyed after that if you go and try and work out because it is so hard for the body to digest those those healthy fats. So they are great foods and they're great for restoring and repairing after your workout, but not beforehand. So after the workout, some some um some strong dense foods that will help repair your body. We need heavy protein. If we're working out for muscle gain, this is where protein really matters. And now let me also just say that your general protein throughout the day is much more important than the timing of protein after your workout. There's this myth that if you don't get protein right after your workout, your muscles will never soak it up. They'll never absorb the protein. And that is absolutely false. Um, we do want to replenish the protein and give our bodies good fuel after our workouts. But if you don't get it within 30 minutes to an hour of your workout, but you still get your protein goal for the day and you get enough protein to build muscle, you're going to be just fine. Your muscles need protein, especially if you're working out and breaking them down, but they don't need it right after the workout. There's no magic formula that you have to get it right after the workout. After your workout, you want to help the nervous system calm down because, like I said, all the muscles are working outside of the center of your body. So the muscles are working, which is allocating blood flow and nervous system to those areas, those muscles, all those types of things. And that's the sympathetic nervous system. It's your fight or flight nervous system. So it's like you're trying to run from a bear, which is good. We want to be able to run from a bear. And that's all those muscles. It's the pupils dilating so you can see around you. It's all those things that we want when we're going to be running from a bear, that fight or flight, right? But the opposite of that is rest and digest. So we do want the body to be able to calm down, take some deep breaths, relax for a little bit, and then eat so that we can properly digest our food. So then refuel after that. Whenever you feel like you've calmed down from your workout a little bit and food is available, go for it. But don't feel like you have to hit this protein window. Just make sure you get adequate protein throughout the day and you'll be all right. All right, so let's recap. We need to make sure that we're fueling before our workouts so that we can train harder. The harder we train, the better we get, the more that we get out of our workouts. But we need to do everything in our power to be able to train hard. We can't expect to just be able to train hard if we don't fuel ourselves beforehand. So experiment with some things that help for you. Second, recovery after. Again, we can work out as hard as we want, but if we don't recover with good, solid foods filled with protein and healthy fats afterwards, we're not going to get as much out of it as we can. So it's not about just training hard, but it's about training hard and smart, especially outside of the gym. And then make it simple. Like I said many times, this is about you. Find foods that work for you in this area. Maybe you like chicken rice 2 hours before your workout, and that makes you feel great. Well, do it. If it's going to help you show up better and do better, that's great. That might not work for everybody. So find what works for you and stay simple. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just try and figure out what works for you. And then the last thing is always is stay consistent with it. Figure out what works for you and stay consistent. Time after time, consistency is gonna beat the trying to work out 3 times in a day. Work out and do it, go as hard as you can and learn to push as hard as you can in the time that you have, and then learn to be consistent with it. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that this was encouraging for you and and you got to learn something out of it. And I just hope that you guys keep changing the world.